بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الله ولي الذين آمنوا يخرجهم من الظلمات إلى النور والذين كفروا أولياؤهم الطاغوت يخرجونهم من النور إلى الظلمات أولئك أصحاب النار هم فيها خالدون. First and foremost, I give my condolences to all of the believers on the 56th anniversary of the martyrdom and assassination of Al-Hajj Malik Shabazz, better known as Malcolm X. We want to remember him. What better way to remember him than in the light of the Quran? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala states in Surah Baqarah, the second chapter of the Quran, verse 257, Allah is the wali or guardian of the faithful. He brings them out of darkness into light. As for the faithless, their awliya or their guardians are the fake deities who drive them out of light into darkness. They shall be the inmates of the fire, and they will remain in it forever. I believe this verse reflects the life of Malcolm X, whereby he left from a life of darkness and went into light when he discovered Islam. Hajj Hassan, how do you see these verses reflecting the life of Al-Hajj Malik Shabazz?
This ayah of Quran is so reflective and captivating the life of Al-Hajj, Shaheed Al-Hajj Malik Shabazz, that he went from darkness to light. He turned by racism and his racist system and decides, unfortunately, to go to the world of darkness and becomes a criminal. He goes to jail, and in jail, he goes and he sees the light when he starts to read, which is interesting because Malcolm said reading changed his life. But Malcolm's journey was one from darkness to light, as the ayah of the Quran said.
Yeah, so Malcolm, he embraces Islam through the Nation of Islam, but his journey does not end there. He continues to seek knowledge, especially after he sees certain elements in the Nation of Islam which don't set right with him. They seem to be elements of corruption. So he leaves the Nation of Islam and he embraces what folks will call more orthodox Islam. When Malcolm X transitions to a more orthodox form of Islam, he had both Sunni and Shia influences. Now, the former influence of the Sunnis, that is well known. However, not many people are familiar and aware about the Shia influences on Malcolm's transition into what we would call Orthodox or formal Islam. One of the friends he had made was with a Muslim by the name of Muhammad Taqi Mehdi, who was Iraqi of Persian descent. In 1958, him and Malcolm became friends. In fact, Muhammad Taqi Mehdi is the one who booked the Hajj trip for Malcolm X and also accompanied him on that visit to Hajj and the travels that he did thereafter. So do you have any points to add?
Malcolm X went to Mecca. He left and went on a trip afterwards to Africa. He went to Egypt. And in Egypt, it is said in his diary, I have his diary, it says he went to the shrine of Imam Hussein alayhi salam.
Malcolm X, of course, as we mentioned before, that he was a man of books. He liked to study. So it wouldn't be unusual that he would know the story of Imam Hussein, the sacrifice that Imam Hussein made in his life. In fact, one scholar, Jonathan Aziza, he asserts that Malcolm X seemed to be carefree in his final days of life, and probably like Imam Hussein, he chose to face his destiny as a martyr.
Malcolm X was familiar, obviously, with the story of Imam Hussein in Zainab al-Kubra, who we see both do what? Live the life that he lived.
As a tribute to Hajj Malik Shabazz, Malcolm X, we also remember his grandson, the first grandson of Malcolm X, the young Malcolm, as we would call him, Hajj Malcolm Latif Shabazz, the namesake of his grandfather, as he would always say.
And when we look at young Malcolm Latif Shabazz, he goes to jail, he goes to Syria, he learns the Ahlul Bayt, he comes out and does all types of speeches and everything, trying to bring people to understand not only Islam, but that light of Ahlul Bayt that he was blessed to have, the late Malcolm Latif Shabazz. When he was in jail, he found the light of Islam because he had been distracted through the criminal lifestyle, and he comes to true Islam in prison, to the religion of his grandfather. But he took another step, and I say the step that he took, it was in parallel to his grandfather's, and that was the trip that he took to Syria And he went, and it's amazing, he went there and he met a brother like Sheikh Jaffer. And from there, I ended up finding and meeting him.
He mentioned to me once in Syria that he believed that if his grandfather was still alive, that he would be walking upon the same path. And these are two precious lives that were taken from us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have mercy upon them both.
On February 21st, 1965, Malcolm left the light in Islam to a special room, a special door, a special place that only selected people that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has chosen can make it. And that is the door and the light of giving his life in the path of Allah, in the way of Allah, fi sabilillah. And he walked through the door of Shahada.